ejected unceremoniously from his mech. And DM could just see here now. It's a hard target to hit. See, even the best of the best struggle to hit Mini D.Va. Feel okay about that? Sleepy there went for the nano boost. Towards Corey to keep him alive, and it didn't work. He must have gone down pretty soon, so Shanghai well and truly in control. EMP on the horizon. DM if there's an infra side in case the Justice try and get cute with a Sombra pick of their own.
You know, the Justice, they tried to, go through the initial choke, then they fake the wrap back around, and they go through the main choke, but at that time, Gamsu able to get some pile drivers, build up that minefield rather quickly. Yana switching over to Winston here. You like Winston against some more damage dealers. Sleepy also going to play Moira, so a ton of healing here provided.
Justice now, well, that's a lot of hacks there. Huge EMP and a body grenade to follow it up, and the Justice, as soon as they realized what had happened, they probably would have taken their hands off their mice and keyboards and thought, no, we're back to spawn. There's no way we're getting away with this. In all fairness, that is probably the most impactful sort of two ability combo that the Dragons have. The rest of their combos probably set up for picks and disruption, but EMP, body grenade, there's no coming back.
It's pretty filthy. As you'll have a self-destruct here, getting closer to grab, but Corey doesn't really have a target like a D.Va to really burn down. Get that grab rather quickly as Gamsu tries to go in.
I got deja vu. I've seen this before. Gamsu goes in, minefield thrown up, and Ardo's already been taken down. Sleepy wants to cross the minefield, but doesn't want to use the fade to do so, if I'm not mistaken. So he sits back for a little bit, tries to heal as he can from a distance. Comet in, Gamsu all caught inside the self-destruct, and the grab, of course, combining nicely. There's really nothing in the Dragons comp that stops that.
Yeah, some going to get picked off at range, though, from DM. Maybe you can extend this if you're the Dragons for a little bit. Nope, Youngjin falls, so big grab from Corey. Do the Dragons stay on this? Nope, they're going to make some changes. So let's see. They're not. Well, I mean, you don't have Gegri in the game, so she's usually your D.Va player. I mean, I think Youngjin can play a little bit of D.Va, but still, you're gonna be running the Sombra version of Goats here. So you're also very close to EMP. So maybe you lose this fight. I actually think he was going for the hack on a Sleepy there, and he gets Corey instead,
Well, you get EMP in and get the job done much the same way, but he doesn't actually connect with anyone but Sunsum and Ardo. Sleepy wasn't affected. That's a target you'd love to get hacked, man. Someone who couldn't fade away and avoid the damage. Either way, things still managed to make do with this one. Gets a D-suit and then completely disregards Sunsum. He's ejected. And now it's going to be just the one player on the point. Giannis here trying to keep things going. Koma's caught inside the Graviton. Giannis is trying to follow up on it now in the Primal Rage. It's pretty durable, and still that's not enough. He's hacked. High ground is forced to stand there while Ding just pellets him.
Yeah, and I think Ko actually picks up a kill out of Corey while he's stuck in Corey's grab. So you'll have Gamsu be able to get in the choke. No static shield. Okay, Giannis switches over to Reinhardt, but you see Gamsu's going to be able to third person that wall with the Rein shield. It's just trying to figure out which way they're going to land a big shatter. Stun at the beginning, so not able to get it off in time.
That's
now it
shatter.
comes through.
Three people. Gamsu was ready for that one. You saw him heading that way. He knew they were coming because Ding was behind them, who has an EMP, but he won't need to use it. He can save it for the next map if he'd like. The Shanghai Dragons, a pretty convincing opening here on Busan. Opening up with Wrecking Ball Sombra, a very aggressive comp that involves a Widowmaker, but then also having fluidity enough from their players' hero pools just to make a switch back to Sombra in a 3-3.
So the Dragons, and I think when you watch teams like week in, week out, sometimes you see small improvements, right? I feel like the Dragons, every time we've seen them play in Stage 2, have really shown us something different, play better, really have drastically improved as the stage goes on. I mean, take a look at this shatter that comes in from Gamsu, which I feel like, we know Gamsu very capable. Reinhardt gets stunned up here. Nice job, turns, beautiful. We know he can do this, but now that we're starting to see Gamsu play some more Wrecking Ball, right? We know from last season he can play the Winston. I think you're just seeing more versatility, different looks here from the Dragons each game.
What that Zarya bubble does for him, he's able to charge past Giannis' shield, stave off a shield bash from Ardo, and then just hit Q. His positioning was very good. Looks like he was got a speed boost from Koma.
Do the Justice have the players to be able to challenge this? I don't know. Corey can play Widowmaker. We've seen that in the past.
The cost of your Zarya, though, is an interesting one.
I also think, too, with some new additions to this team, right, having Arc and Sleepy come in, you probably have only really practiced getting good at 3-3. You haven't had an opportunity to mix it up with some different compositions, so you kind of have to play what you practiced at this point.
But we're looking at the team, Matt, that opted into the Chengdu Hunters Clown Fiesta and beat them at that kind of game, right? Shanghai are able to, use these compositions that feature Wrecking Ball up there with the very best of them, which I would definitely say Chengdu is. And right now, they're going to be happy to use that against Washington and try and punish them for their lack of mobility. So they go for the Winston here in this sort of 3-3 setup, presumably to try and access DM, but he hasn't really been too bothered. Look at him taking pot shots now. It's Sleepy EMP. That is so gross. 5 people EMP'd on the point, and Ding was not pressured at all. He just did that his own volition.
I mean, they're playing that corner there in that cubby to try and hide from potentially the Widowmaker, cap the point, break the line of sight. But you also set yourself up for something like this. So the EMP comes down. It's massive. I mean, connects with absolutely everybody. The only reason it didn't connect with Giannis is because he's dead before it goes off. But
by the way, Minefield. Yeah, this one's going to be nasty. Gamsu not able to knock the Justice into the mines he just put down. He was stunned up for a brief period and slept, and that will be enough. That is just how much it takes to get rid of Wrecking Ball, especially after he's used his barrier. It is incredibly frustrating.
Well, that's where you like having a Sombra against Wrecking Ball, right? But you don't see that from the Justice.
Is that a look we've ever really seen from them?
No. Well, I think, like I was mentioning, with this roster being new, you just have not gotten a ton of time playing with those type of compositions. I imagine you're going to use your practice time. You're going to practice triple tank, triple support.
I feel like if there's a Sombra player on the Justice, it could be Sleepy. Potentially. I know he's gone for it before. Luffy there, taken down by the Primal Rage. DM will be chased here, but 84% on the docket is not an ideal scenario here for the Justice.
Well, they take the point. The issue is they know that maybe they don't know, but there's going to be an EMP on the other side. Ryan Zarya switch here for the Dragons, so you'll have the advantage in terms of sustain on the point with the Reinhardt versus the Winston. So Giannis actually switches, so he goes back to the spawn, gets a switch off here. But, I mean, it's going to be... If the Dragon sound barrier, you think that forces sound barrier out of arc, and then maybe the EMP goes off.
Another, at least 4-man, 5-man. Jonas was caught out by that one as well. Sound barrier from arc, though. The only player not affected by the EMP. However, the Justice are unable to actually use that extra durability to their advantage because they're busy backing away because they were hacked. Arc now on the point, quickly trying to skirt to his backline and give him the amped up healing. It's going to be a bit of a rough fight. This is kind of where Justice look a bit better, though, where there's a bit more healing available, but the Dragons have a rally to help them. They have a Transcendence to follow up after, and they control the point currently.
Oh, and it's going to be a shatter from Gamsu up on the high ground. That'll be Transcendence from Sleepy. Doesn't save anybody as the Justice have to back out.
96% and counting now. There will be perhaps an attempt from Sunsum here to stall the point, but if he is stunned, or de-suited, or both, that will be it. And I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, there's not a heck of a lot to say about that one. The Shanghai Dragons are making the Sombra-based compositions, whether it's with damage dealers or with tanks, look very, very good. Ding, an important inclusion here. We may see them change up their team compositions as we go to the next few maps, but right now, the Dragons looking good.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. Eichenwalde is an especially fun map for Sombra, and Ding from the Shanghai Dragons shows you why. Translocating from the rooftops, Ding falls into the whole Florida Mayhem team, lets an EMP rip, and allows Gamsu to earth-shatter them down.
Instead, that's a huge one. Whoa, it's a big EMP into a huge earth shatter from Gamsu, actually. The timing on that was impeccable.
That's right. In cases where perhaps a direct approach for an EMP doesn't quite work out, Ding just does it twice, I guess. Nice little bait with a translocator. A good example of, I guess, the levels that this guy is able to demonstrate on Sombra, where it's not just cut and dry, going for a right click, going for the Q map.
Yes, now as we move into Paris, you actually don't have any changes that come in roster-wise for the Dragons. They're going to keep rolling with this. Paris, you can
This
play
is that
some,
kind of map, right?
Yeah, Paris, you can play some more damage dealers on offense. It'll be interesting what we see on defense from the Dragons, but I think the Justice, they need to bounce back in a big way if they're going to take map number 2. Map number 1 was really all Dragons. There are a few fights where the Justice were able to take control of the point. It's just, it got to a point where, you know, it's 90% for the Dragons. They lose one fight. They make a good switch that counters what the Justice have, and then the next fight goes heavily in favor of Shanghai.
Yeah, I feel like they won those fights as well, and it was honestly on the back of sheer weight of sort of ultimate advantage. But that does also mean that fundamentally, you know, the Washington Justice are present in this match as a team that can operate at this level. Look, sometimes it's compositional, sometimes your philosophy that you approach a map with can sort of hurt you based on the team comp you bring in. I wonder though, like, can they punish the Dragons for maybe not having like someone playing Diva at all times? Yongjin, if he's going to play Diva, what does he do? He has to switch off the brig, let Ding play it. Maybe that's less than ideal for Shanghai. Maybe that's something you can exploit. But I feel like the Justice are just trying to work on their personal level first and try and make sure that they're airtight with their brig free.
I think if you're Shanghai, they'll just consider just playing like the Sombra version of Goat. So like you see them now with Sombra in play. They see Reinhardt on the other side, no Zenyatta as well, so you know you'll be able to sustain through some of that extra damage that's not going to be there for the Justice, and they'll be able to just kind of walk on through. Maybe you get a burst down on Giannis here. He's been caught out of position a few times there in the first map, so they almost get a stun on him there. He's got to be really careful.
We're starting to see this a little bit more. Teams going away from playing a bunker composition on this map, opting for the more stable 3-3 approach. Obviously, that Shanghai being an exception, bringing Ding instead, which is no shock to us. Notice that Shanghai, they don't bring the Zarya Diva. The Diva Sombra. They bring the Diva. They bring the Sombra and Zarya. A little bit different to some teams here.
I mean, this is completely in favor of the Dragons. So, what happened there is that the Justice jumped off of the mid-platform. They're trying to back out. Arc probably went to go use speed. He ends up getting hacked. Corey obviously can't get the effects of that because there's no speed coming through. He gets caught a little bit further out of position in a case where he probably thought he would have had speed to make it around the corner. He ends up falling. Everybody ends up falling there for the Justice. The horrible part for Washington is that now you have Shatter, EMP, Grab, like a really good opportunity for the Dragons to get, close to setting some kind of record here.
Giannis has got Primal, but he wanted to try and farm it up for the first point because now he may not have a chance to use it at all.
He's got it though.
Yeah, they do now, that's for sure. Big tick mark over his head. And of course, DM's going to have a Graviton Surge here, so this is going to be a bit of a cleanup here for the Washington Justice, man. And this is probably a pretty classic example of a snowball on an assault map. You win the first fight pretty dominantly. The Justice didn't put a lot of pressure on the Dragons as they approached point A, so they didn't farm up much ult themselves. And blink and you'll miss it. That's how it works at this level. And it's quite clear to see the Dragons are miles ahead.
That was quick. So the Dragons set a blistering pace through Paris as not a lot of defense there from the Justice. That offense was going to be hard to beat. We'll see if they can do it after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Well, yeah, I feel like we just had kind of two breaks right one after another because the Dragons just went absolutely ham on that attack, and frankly, the Justice just got beat up.
Yeah. I mean, the Dragons look great. I mean, they look great on the first map. So far here, I mean, look, they got 6 minutes in the bank. I mean, they're sitting pretty right now. As I think, though, this is a tough match for the Justice. It's a Dragons team that is on the come-up, and it is a Washington team that is kind of trying to find their strides. You got the match of the week featuring the Dragons on Sunday. We'll be there. Dragons Shock. Should be pretty awesome. Sunday. Twitch, ESPN, 3PT.
The ESPN app, that one. Check it out. Here's Gamsu, just doing Gamsu things. He's actually quite the culinary wizard, serving up
he's got an awesome
a pretty
dog
chunky
as well.
pizza slice here. Yeah, you were hanging out. You went hiking with the guy.
Yeah, Mikoma, Gamsu, he went hiking. It's pretty good. Checking out that Axis Granite.
I don't know, Gamsu just seems like the kind of player to me that just has a good balance between gaming and what he does. And that's tied, the fastest attack time? Tied,
wow.
Down a millisecond, of course, no doubt. 6:01. That is...
the Justice going to have some scout out. What's going on here?
This guy, man.
Gamsu still dancing away.
He's dancing! No, he's in our heads, guys! Let's see what the Justice can do here. Still Sombra for the Dragons on defense here, man. I like it.
mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Right? I mean, they haven't showed you anything that would lead you to believe they're going to stop it.
That's going to annoy them so much. Ado's going to be like trying to, box with shadows, trying to hit these sort of shield bashes and find Ding. Oh, Ding at 70% of EMP.
I mean, they're just not really dealing with him. I mean...
Nope, they are allowing it to happen.
I love, well, look, so we talked about it a little bit earlier in the day, and I actually see Corey on stage kind of like taking his hand off of the mouse hand and kind of like pointing to where people should go. What they want to do is when the Sombra's behind, they want to just speed past and just attack. They're not doing it, though. They're just kind of lingering around and letting Ding just get all of this poke.
But Matt, this is characteristic of the Justice. They just don't want to get aggressive. And when they're on attack, unfortunately, that's kind of an issue. A chunky EMP from Ding. And Gamsu now has a Shatter and there's a Graviton Surge here. The Justice are at great risk of letting this get right away from them here. They're going to be looking down the barrel of 4 ultimates on the side of the Dragons.
And I think it's just paying attention to the positioning here from Ding. So he's going to be behind. They're going to have this grab. You're going to build up another EMP off of it.
So is that it for you? Do you just want to see the Justice, if they know the Sombras around them or behind them, or just get aggressive?
They need to turn. Turn, maybe a swing of the mace towards it.
Force the translocate.
Force them to translocate, then push on through.
Right.
At least when he translocates, you know he's far away, right? I think what's been happening is they've just been trying to push on through with ignoring him, and that's allowed him to just farm up these really quick EMPs.
I mean, they're dealing with so many other threats as well. Perhaps the focus isn't quite there. Earth Shatter catches Giannis. We'll be pleased with that one. Giannis goes for one himself. It doesn't really connect, though. Graviton Surge, tying them all to the pole. Got to be frustrating. Also, it makes it pretty hard for Giannis to shield his team inside that grab when they're all sort of dispersed around that... what do you call these things? Kiosks? I don't know what they are. I see them all the time in Europe.
What?
I don't know, like the thing with the posters on it. It's a pole.
Yeah, a pole poster. Yeah, that's what they're called.
It's not really tell me what it is.
It's a technical term for it. So, hey, look, you'll have Grav here for the Justice. So, you're going to get more ult charge here for Ding. And look, I mean, there he goes. He went in there with 80 towards EMP, leaves with him.
Yeah, the thing is now...
But now you can't use barrier, right?
That's right. And he translocated out, but he's right back here. Another 6-man EMP. This is... we're not on Disney, are we? This is starting to turn to an absolute slaughter. This is...
this is no bueno.
It's not a good look, man.
Not good. But I think, though, this has been tough. I think it's like the Justice trying to learn on the fly how to play against this. And I think it's the Dragons really kind of mastering this type of play style. So now with no EMP, now you have a chance of your Washington, right? You have a lot of ultimates to use here.
Shatter.
Nothing with the Shatter.
Gamsu leapt off. He was trying to do some This is Sparta level stuff. I'm almost certain of it. This might go wrong for the Dragons now. They're a little bit out of position. Trying to regroup somewhat. Giannis, that's a big shatter. That's what they're looking for. And Ado finds 2 here. The Washington Justice looking much better now as they focus on towards DM, realizing that getting rid of the Zaya is a good idea here.
It's like, I mean, maybe Gamsu got, a a little over aggressive there. Is hey, look, if he's going to do that,
he jumped into midair and used shatter while in midair.
Yeah, and the Justice punished him for it, right? So the Justice is going to be able to take point A. So now they'll go in, they'll have Rally, and they'll have Transcendence. You're going to walk in to grab EMP, though. With how good Ding's EMPs have been, I think he's probably going to connect with at least 5 players or so. It's hard, because you have to like try and not get Arc in this one so he can speed boost everybody away, because the Dragons are so good with following up that EMP.
Well, this one will be Ding walking up and just going straight for the EMP. Sleepy still gets the Transcender, so that's a very good sign for the Justice now. Keep themselves topped up throughout this fight. Ding's forced to translocate out, but Giannis is going to be focused down now. He gets a repair pack. Graviton Surge, so he's not getting away from that one. Ardo also will fall here. Arc not far behind. Sunsum, maybe just let yourself get taken down. Either way, he's going to get demeched, and he will be staggered out for a while. The Justice... really, DM? Is that... You going to do it to him? No?
How much HP could he
Just
have?
like 1.
Like, you couldn't even see the bar at some point. You know, if you're the Justice Light, you did get them to use EMP, Grav, and Rally. 3 big ultimates. So maybe, you use your Transcendence, but, you know, you have the big bomb combo coming up. I mean, Corey should be able to get this Grav rather fast, and then you'll have that big combo to use. Luffy with a Trance, then Gamsu with a Shatter, so you're kind of looking if you land the Grav if you're Corey. You can't have Giannis just kind of walk up, try and swing. Has to be careful, whether it's a pin on a Gamsu or just shield up the front. Can't let that counter shatter come down.
Sleepy got hacked there. Looks like he's being chased down. EMP. There's a possibility of Ding to get this one. I don't know how that happened. Ardo just went down. Sleepy's missing. It looked like the Justice were actually able to sort of pressure on a Gamsu a bit more, but no.
No, what they did, they used the bomb. They threw the bomb in. They split them off. And then instead of going for Gamsu, who just had the bubble on him, they broke out to the right, didn't realize that Gamsu had the shatter, and then he just shattered everybody, just like following everybody up. So look, so let's take a look at this. So bomb comes in. You see the tanks, they go to the left, and then he's just able to get a huge shatter on everybody else. I think it's just Giannis and Corey that actually go to the right side. But I mean, still, those are your 2 players that could potentially block that shatter.
Right, they were standing right on top of the self-destruct that they put there.
They were trying to follow up on the self-destruct, but everybody else was just a few steps behind.
Oh no, the Roomba! How is it going to vacuum now? It has been turned off. Wow, it's still going? It's EMP proof. That's impressive. I need to get me one of those, just in case, you know, things get crazy. I know Arc and Giannis all taken down there. The EMP was able to solve that fight pretty comfortably. Now, if you have technology to prevent your Roombas from being EMP, why don't you just have them on your armor?
Dude, Gamsu right now, I'm just not paying attention to what the Roomba is. Are you talking about the little vacuum?
Yeah, it didn't get turned off by EMP, bro. Come on. It's electronic.
Yeah, they should have that effect when you do it. But Gamsu, get this. This is what I found was cool, not that vacuum. Gamsu getting a shatter every 57 seconds to Giannis is 1:46. So, big difference here. I mean, Gamsu's got another one, right? We just saw the replay of him use it 2 fights ago.
He has double the damage of Giannis. That's probably a big part of why. Obviously, Reinhardt's only way of generating ultimate is doing damage. So
he did play more Reinhardt, though, than did Giannis. He did have the Reinhardt on offense for the Dragons.
That is true, yeah. So he just has half the damage in general. I guess playing Winston wouldn't have helped him.
Nice shatter.
That's the counter shatter. Nicely done by Giannis, but follow-up, that's hard to do when there's yet another EMP. Ding! He's just handing out L's left, right, and center. Hold these, Justice. Ardo gets caught up inside. He grabs Sunsum, de-suited. Gets a bubble. That's good. He get to hang around a little bit longer. I don't think that's what he wanted, though. The Justice managed to come out with 1 tick of permanent progress, but they had 10 seconds to try and get a little bit more. And I don't know. The prognosis is pretty grim here. We might see Giannis try and get there in time. Tries to make it the wrecking ball. He doesn't quite get there. Very one-sided. Very slow performance from the Justice here. And again, 46,000 damage from the Shanghai Dragons to 24 damage from the Washington Justice.
24,000.
Yeah, 24,000, 24 damage. Look, I'm just trying to editorialize here. It's like half. Not ideal. We're at halftime coming up. I can't wait to hear what our guys have to say about this to break it down. See you in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right. The Dragons are trying to make their first ever stage playoff, and they're looking pretty playoff ready right now. Up 2-0 over the Justice at the half. Welcome back into the Blizzard Arena. It's Bucket. I got the boys. It's Bren. It's Sideshow. And guys, before we get into what happened in these games, I wanted to ask you about where Shanghai stood in your minds coming into today. We know our top tier. We're starting to figure out our second tier. Where do you guys have Shanghai? Is this a playoff caliber squad?
Well, right now in the standings, they're kind of at the lower ends as it stands, and of the middle of the pack teams, that is. So I think it's a bit undeserved, honestly, as well, because this is a squad that have shown us that they are actually not too bad. They're not awful. I mean, in terms of the teams right now, the power.
I think
I
they're
love
good.
your face. Go ahead, Josh.
I think they're good.
I'm trying
They're
to
not
think of
even
who I
just
would
not
put them
bad.
above, though.
Okay, so I think that they're currently above the Fuel. I think they're above the Spark. I think they're above.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're on a similar
Would you
level
say
to the
Seoul?
Philadelphia Fusion.
Seoul.
I don't think they're better than Seoul, though. I think Seoul are actually a very good team. I think they're around a similar level, though. We have a lot of decent teams in this stage, so it seems unlikely, actually, that Shanghai are going to make the playoffs, but I think they're a playoff caliber
I
team. I
really
think they're
want
around
them to
that.
make playoffs, though, because that's going to answer a lot of questions we have in regarding to a lot of these teams.
Yes, yeah.
And where they stand right now.
They could do it. They got to win this match, and of course, they got the shock later this week. But let's focus on two players that may help them get there. Ding and DM, as you heard on the pre-show, are some of the best DPSs in the league.
I love
some of the
them.
best damage dealers out there. We saw them on the Widowmaker, Josh. A little
We
bit
did.
of fun here for our first map.
We did. It's always awesome when you get these guys on heroes that they're excellent at, and DM is a hit scan god. He is fantastic when he gets to play the Tracer, when he gets to play the Widowmaker. He was having a big impact. But really, the defining point of this entire match so far has been that Ding Sombra is getting away with murder. Nobody's shutting him down. They're really struggling to be able to stop his EMPs flooding through, to be able to stop his hacks. So much damage as well.
I love the fact that Shanghai are still going through with a lot of the Sombra goats, because a lot of the teams that were running it quite a lot in the earlier stages, like Seoul, like London, have kind of just dropped off from running it a lot of the time. They're sticking to purely triple tank, triple support compositions.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see them still making it work and still having huge effectiveness with it, because I feel like Sombra, I mean, I don't want to say she's underutilized, because she's utilized a lot, but she's a very powerful hero.
She's probably the most single powerful hero that we
Yeah.
have in the game right now. It's just that we're in such a team-based meta that she doesn't dominate. But, I mean, look at that. The one death, still
20
able to hack
hacks.
28 people.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I'll take it. So, question on Ding: is he the best Sombra in the league? If not, who's up there with him?
Ah, man.
I'm
that's a
throwing you on the
difficult one.
spot. I didn't ask you
know.
backstage.
I'm not sure. I think he's a very good Sombra. I think you've got to put guys like Dante in there.
100%.
I think a lot of the teams as well haven't been playing much Sombra. So even though there are probably a bunch of players that would be really good on that hero, we haven't seen it from them so much. So a bit
Ding,
of a cop-out.
You're
but it's
number one
good.
Sombra in my heart. Let's move on here. Let's talk about the tanks, because Gamsu in our second map was my favorite player to watch out of everybody on the main stage. Looking at this team as a whole on Paris, what did you learn about Shanghai? Do you guys think this truly is a playoff-ready team?
Yeah, they kind of disrespect him a little bit at certain moments, weren't they? I mean, it was a fantastic sort of match to watch. I felt like, honestly, from Shanghai's perspective, they probably could have full held this one. And I mean, I don't think that's PM to say for Justice. They had an opportunity to, and it was the 30 seconds counting down on the point A defense. But it was just a blitzing fast push coming into point A and point B. Just ridiculous from them. And this is what I love as well about teams that don't really slow down or play down to their opponents a lot of the time, because that is how you get complacent and slip up sometimes and give some of
This
but this moment here
is amazing.
From the top!
With 30 seconds left, I mean, they lose the point because of it, because Gamsu goes through a ridiculous thing. I mean, you say they don't play down to their
And
opponents.
props to Jonas
They
for
got
the
bored at the
counter.
end.
Counter, but, I mean, Gamsu just having
Yes.
the gall to go with it. I love it.
I mean, can I be real for a moment, though? The
Yes.
Washington Justice, they should be so much better than this. I'm disappointed with them. They are still getting walked over by middle-of-the-pack teams like the Shanghai Dragons, and they're not putting up any resistance. And with Sleepy and Ark on the roster, I was really hoping that they'd start to get things together and be a more decisive team, but they're just kind of standing there, and they don't look like they have too much of a game plan, and perhaps communication's still an issue on this team. Maybe it's a bit unfair. Maybe I should leave it longer before saying that it's still disappointing me, but this is not the improvement I was hoping for.
How much longer are you going to
Yeah,
leave it?
I was
We're
going to say,
halfway through
we're
the
almost
season.
halfway done with the season here, Josh.
like
We're almost done.
It's you know, it's now or never. Hello, Justice. Wiggy wiggy.
All right, so final question here. How does the Justice become the Night King and slay these dragons? Is it possible, Bren? Is there any way they can take these dragons out of the sky?
I mean, listen, I don't want to be
To this camera. Right here.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
I mean, the way it's looking right now is that there's just fundamental issues in terms of their coordination as a team, and they're not going to fix it in one half. They're not going to fix it in one half. It's like a baiting question because I look like a bit of a I don't know what's the word. I don't know what word you're looking for.
Samuel Tarley, you need to keep reading. We'll
I was
find
about to say
out.
something bad. But
All right, guys, that is going to do it for our halftime. When we come back, can Shanghai make it a 4-0? They need the maps. We'll find out.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overwatch League, and it is all about the Dragons right now. The Justice, I haven't really seen them yet on stage.
Oh, it's been rough. It's been rough for Washington. They've had zero response to the Sombra that the Dragons have ran consistently. And I think if you are the Dragons, you're going to keep running it.
Yep.
And if you're the Justice, you better figure it out.
Run it up. I guess at this point, the Justice's odds of winning are about as ridiculous as you actually getting a tattoo if Shanghai wins, or the cops actually showing up. You're just making stuff up to get on tag board, guys. It's obvious.
I respect it, though.
Do you?
A little bit.
Doesn't really seem like on brand for you, though.
They're smart. They're getting on the stream. They're featured on the tag board all the time.
I'm on the stream all the time.
I'm about it.
That's true. Overrated, to be honest. Anyway, Blizzard World coming up for our third map. And again, look, I mean, we've seen so much Sombra play on this map before. Like,
here.
I don't care if they keep putting D on camera. If he keeps playing well, we can keep on camera. I want to see anyone else. Show me that man.
No, he's been sick.
No substitution here at all. Like, so Shanghai are not. I kind of wonder about this. You know, what makes them not want to bring the Diva in?
I mean, maybe this is something that they're working on. Potentially could use it against the Shock on Sunday. Play some Sombra composition, steal a map or two. Well, I mean, nobody's taking up off the Shock yet, right? So, if you think you can get by with your Sombra composition, maybe roll it out here, get a good look. So, the Justice on D, they'll be playing the Reinhardt 3-3. Sleepy playing Ana, so more Ana from the Justice as opposed to Zen this week.
I like that high ground Ana on point A, hiding behind the rowboat. Keep the healing coming, getting cheeky darts out.
They need to deter Ding, because the issues that's happening, they're making the right read. They're going in when he's behind. The issue is they need to get him to translocate out. Look, somebody needs to turn here.
Sansum's hacked. He can't mitigate any of this damage with Defense Matrix. Still, though, he and Corey managed to...
But look, they go up, they play aggressive.
They get aggressive.
That's what they need to do.
So that's what you're looking for here.
Yeah.
Corey, a pretty impressive amount of damage in that fight. You can see between him and DM, he is way ahead towards that first grab. So, okay, that I guess is something we want to be critical of the justice of, as we sort of as spectators look on. Do they get aggressive when they need to? Do they go forward to pressure? Or do they hesitate and will it punish them?
Because they have the advantage when Ding is behind them and they force him to translocate out. They have the advantage when they push on through. In terms of healing output with the Ana, and in terms of sustainability with all the tanks, the extra tank.
And now you don't need to be told twice to push on, I think, because Nano Boost for Giannis is definitely going to propel him forward. There was an Earth Shatter from Gamsu. I believe it only really caught Sansum there and wasn't really able to be followed up on. So much better look from the Washington Justice early here, and I'm pretty sure the halftime pep talk probably cleared a few things up.
Yes, I mean, DM is very far away from getting anything close to the Graviton Surge right now. We'll see what happens, though. EMP, going to be available. You'll have Shatter and Grab for the Justice. This is starting to look good at the beginning.
Ding might have to get out early. Corey knows there's no Diva, so... Make hay while the sun shines. Gamsu gets taken down by the charge. Shadow's able to pick that one up. It's still a Transcendence here from Luffy. Yongjin hastily steps on back, tries to get out of the picture, and you see Luffy is heading back the long way to spawn.
Yeah, they need to wait here. They need to wait for Gamsu as they know there's an Earth Shatter available. I mean, look, he hits a good EMP. You'll start to see DM get really charged up, farm all those tanks. This EMP's got to be good from Ding.
We'll see if it works out. Otherwise, they may as well have had a Diva this whole time. 3 people caught with that one. Giannis, Corey, and Otto. That's a pretty good haul if you ask me. Self-destruct from Sansum. Not yielding any big results. And now being down the Reinhardt not only means the Justice are at a disadvantage, but they can't really just stand out in the open on the point now. They have to play back and... Well, I don't know if Ryan will be there in time. They're going to have to push with 5 players and see what they can get done. Corey pushing from an off angle here, trying to get charged up, but Gamsu gets a barrier. Still, he's trying to very conservatively play this left corner, but the Justice are filtering in from 2 different sides. Oh, great shatter! That would have been Gamsu able to follow up on that Graviton Surge, but Giannis lays down the hammer at just the right time. Matt, are the Dragons getting punished for not having a Diva finally?
I mean, it was a nice sleep from Sleepy as well on a Gamsu, but this is definitely hurting the Dragons right now. As you'll have EMP, Shatter, both support ultimates, so some good ultimates coming online for the Dragons. But you can see adjustments here from the Justice already. Doing a much better job not allowing Ding to get in the back line, doing whatever he wants.
I like it. You know, this is where you want to punish the Dragons here because there's obviously more risk associated with bringing that Sombra along. So Luffy gets a Transcendence here despite there being a Graviton, and still Ding is taken down by Arc. Now that was away from the play. Gamsu was shield bash briefly on the point, but is able to shrug it off now. The rally's in play. Gamsu can't shield his team from that. He was knocked away. And despite the fact that he wasn't caught inside a grab, he was too far away to protect from Sansum's self-destruct.
Sleepy's Ana was sick on this one. He actually sweeps Ding as he's coming around on the flank, potentially going for an EMP. Ding will land the EMP here, but it's good for nothing.
It looks good, but that's about it. No good from the Dragons. The Justice, I mean, night and day. They look much better on defense here. They're playing around the composition that the Dragons are serving them up. They are looking at what's being thrown at them, and they are adapting. They are adjusting. This is what you want to see from a team of this caliber. And after the break, we'll see if the Justice can pick up this map nice and quick on the attack.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Well, the Washington Justice have definitely turned the corner after halftime. Their defense on Blizzard looked excellent. And look, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. In fact, it's very common to see Sombra on this map. Yet the Justice played around it very well. We finally get to see some initiative, some aggression. They are actually dictating plays instead of allowing themselves to be washed away with the tide. This is what they need to be showing, because the individual skill is there. It is the calling, it's coordination. Brent brought it up, trying to be nice about it. I respect it, but it was hard to do at halftime. Matt, there's a lot on the line for the Dragons in this match, though, oddly enough.
Massive. I mean, they need a win. You would ideally like a 4-0, 3-1 okay, anything Game 5 scenario. They're in a lot of trouble in terms of their playoff chances.
Because of map differential, yes?
Yeah, with the Chengdu Hunters. Let's see, so this is the sleeve dart. And he's coming in to actually go for the EMP there. That EMP could have been massive, so this will probably not be the case for the Justice on offense.
You don't like attacking Orisa, do you, Matt? Remember last night? You had a couple choice words for one of our teammates.
My words were, hey, sir, would you like to select a different tank? And then I offered to do it. I thought that was nice.
Plot twist, we won when we finally played the right composition. Not that you care about Diamond Adventures. You're here to see if the Dragons can hold off the Justice.
If the Dragons can make the playoffs, it's kind of awesome as well, right? It kind of cements the turnaround for this franchise. And then it kind of puts the pressure on Florida. Florida would be the only year one team, the original teams that didn't make the playoffs. A playoff.
I have thoughts about that, but for another time, perhaps. So Giannis got hacked there as the Justice tried to push up. Ding was able to get behind him. Like, you can stop, obviously, Sombra hacking you if you turn your shield, but had Giannis done that, it's quite possible that his teammates would have taken a fair bit of damage. So,
and I think obviously they did a better job, the Justice corralling Ding in the first half. I would also say from the Dragons side, Diem had a really poor first half on Zarya. I mean, not putting down a ton of damage. The average energy sitting at 36% compared to Corey's 60. So
does Ding's role change now on defense for Dragons?
Just poke, come back. Probably a little bit easier for him to get back and just kind of play with the rest of the team. EMP comes in.
Sleepy still got the translate.
The issue is, like, it's so tricky, and like you can never fault a Zen in that situation for using it, because you see the Reinhardt and he's only like a few steps ahead. You think you can get there, but teams are so good at EMP. Reinhardt's there. Discord burn him down before they get around the corner with the trances. Hey, if he's able to stay alive for a half a second longer and get the trans healing, you love that play from Sleepy. It's the play you need to make.
A draw here in this map, and assuming the Dragons are able to win map 4, would actually be a +3 map differential for them in this series, 3-0. So that would still be good. We were just talking about possibilities for to be hard for them to get into playoffs, and there are many of those.
Any scenario where they're not losing maps.
But if they draw here, and then if they lose the last map, then it's only a +1 differential.
They haven't had a 4-0 all stage. They've had some some games where you think they could have definitely done it.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Justice still have a chance to win this map. It's like the margin between winning and sort of having a bit of an average draw is very, very thin. Gamsu goes down first. That is a very important start to the fight. Shatter and Grab both used EMP. Graviton surge to the Dragons this time, but Corey and Sleepy, even though they were caught up inside of it, they weren't able to be taken down by the Shanghai Dragons. And now the Justice, just as we were talking about possibilities for this, look like they're about to take this one away. There's really no one close by for the Shanghai Dragons. And the Washington Justice absolutely earned this map. Great defensive play. Sleepy's looking excellent. Played around the Sombra. They finally showed us some aggression.
Yes.
Finally showed us they were ready to fight and they weren't afraid. They weren't constantly suffering from analysis paralysis. Good to see them now get a map, but they're looking for more, much more. And they'll have a chance to get that in map 4. Coming right up.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Washington Justice have made their way back into this series, and there's just a chance now that the Dragons might take this a little bit more seriously. Remember, a map 5 is a distinct possibility, and if that were to happen, the Dragons' chances at playoffs here in Stage 2 will be under extreme jeopardy.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really tough for the Dragons at that point to bring it back. I mean, look, you go up against the San Francisco Shock. Those guys are on another level right now. I mean, they have not dropped a map in Stage 2. You can see where we're at in this series. Blizzard World, really, I mean, the first 2 maps are completely dominated by the Dragons, let's be clear. Blizzard World, the Justice really turned on. They look phenomenal in that map. See if they can keep that going here. The Justice have a really good idea what the Dragons are going to do. They don't really have a diva player in the game right now. You expect some damage dealer heavy setups or Sombra goats. It's really what you can expect. I mean, both of these teams have never won here on Gibraltar, so we will get a winner today.
Someone is definitely going to win.
In the rare case, you could, I think, draw this.
It's really hard.
It's a very almost nearly impossible. But the way this is going, that'd be kind of a cool way to end it.
Well, we were just discussing actually in the previous match how powerful Diva is, right? And how prevalent she is. We've not seen any of it here in the Dragons today. They're happy enough going without it. Youngjin Doomfist, I'm so here for this. Teleport. Oh, come on.
Nah, they're not going to play that.
Come on, guys. Oh. All right. No, they're not. But that would be kind of funny. Youngjin going through the teleporter and then rocket punching. Oh, he's doing it. He's doing it. Really? Really? When you, I mean, do they know what the stakes are? The stakes are pretty high for the Dragons here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, we have seen more Doomfist in Stage 2.
Oh, no.
So the Justice have decided to play in these small areas. This is where Doomfist can be really effective. You lose things, so you lose your burst healing here.
Alright, this could hurt now.
Oh,
no
man,
repair pack
look
whatsoever.
At how fast you're able to just chunk down.
Giannis got an Earth Shatter already, and and allows him to get Gamsu. Youngjin gets lasered down by Corey, and the Dragons are repelled for the time being.
I do feel like you're talking about, when you don't have the diva in play, I feel like the two most I think let's call them like the two most dominant heroes right now, like in terms of like how much you can do alone as sole hero.
Gotcha.
Diva and Sombra, those would be the two. I mean, Sombra can do so much work on her own. Same with Diva, just great overall at everything.
Don't group up. Yes. Ado able to shield that one away. Youngjin got, well, he got mulched pretty bad. But you know, those two heroes, mate, you're talking about.
Yeah.
It is because, okay, so on Diva, obviously, she's actually an excellent duelist in a 1v1. Like, it's pretty hard to beat her because she's so durable, does good damage up close. But it's the utility. It's Sombra and Diva's utility. So it's not, this is why I don't want people to get the wrong idea. It's not because they just do the most damage or do this or do that. It's because they set their team up to win fights and they create slanted scenarios in game state.
It's everything Diva brings with defense matrix, mobility, good damage, being able to use defense matrix like that to take away a graviton surge. I mean, it's just massive. That I think if you're the Dragons, if you're not going to play Diva, you almost have to play Sombra. I think Doomfist is another hero that you could throw into that category, but I think Doomfist just has way more hard counters.
And it's much more conditional.
Yeah.
And there aren't a ton of heroes whose efficacy really depends on the structure of the map, the walls, the setup of it, but Doomfist obviously requires that. If the enemy Reinhardt is making sure Doomfist is punching them backwards but not into a wall, it's very hard for Doom to get anything done. He's not able to get any big combos off. You can obviously shield his Seismic Slam. I don't know what this is anymore.
Quad support? Okay.
I mean, so
well,
presumably Youngjin wants to hit a Biting Grenade if they're all grouped up in one of these side rooms, and I hope to dig them out.
You're just relying on your Zarya for a lot of damage here.
I mean, my question for Shanghai is, do you want Stage 2 playoffs?
I mean, we've seen teams and contenders run this comp.
Yep.
With the 4 supports, we have not seen it in Overwatch League thus far.
Maybe this is why
that I've casted. I've not seen it this far. So we'll see if you stay on this. This is like a kind of like a off the cuff version of like the Goats comp where you play 4 supports here. You can really kind of the Ana, you can just pump the heals here. Right?
I mean, the healing is what's so strong in these Goats comp. So if Ana can shut it down and you're not actually losing out on your...
But where's your damage?
Well, that's the question. Is it important to have more damage or to completely shut down the enemy's healing on a decent cooldown?
Great grab, but where's the follow-up?
There is none.
I mean, there is none.
No damage to be seen here. Gamsu's going to get taken down now. He's Okay, fair enough. Shadow connects with Sleepy, but I mean, Giannis is just going to stand there and be a good bro. So here's Sound Barrier. There might be something here. Giannis gets taken down, and finally the Shanghai Dragons break through. A pretty reasonably high investment in terms of ultimate. They're in overtime.
I'd be worried if they didn't break through with a Shatter, Nano Boost, Grab, Sound Barrier. Like, if they didn't break through, there'd be a massive problem. But
So on one hand, I'm happy to see this and discuss it. On the other hand, I think this is a little bit unnecessary.
the Justice should be able to get this hold, though. I mean, you come out with Grab, Self-Destruct, Transcendence, and Sound Barrier. You put yourself in a great spot if you're Washington.
Okay. Corey going to push in now. It's going to be self-destruct over the back. Gamsu
Nice
tries to turn
charge.
his shield, but it was well set up by the Justice. If there's anything they're good at doing, it's the 3-3. They've been workshopping this particular composition for, well, ostensibly the entire season so far, and it shows. The grab snap back from the Dragons, it looks pretty good, and DM's able to find two, and the Justice...
And they didn't use Sound Barrier.
So is that what displeases you about this? Is that why
I thought you had a huge advantage. You had both support ults. I mean, maybe you think you kind of play the long game and hold it and play for it, but I mean, I think you pick up, 2 kills with the self-destruct? Like, double down, play on it. You know you have the advantage in terms of damage at that point, so they don't go for it. Now it allows Ding to go over to Sombra, so now you're going to play this game again, which could be tough.
I mean, Ding can go wherever he wants, man. He can drop down on top. He can just hang out of the spaceship.
Use the barrier now. I need to get Giannis.
Corey gets shattered there, and he will get burnt down, and there it is. Corey and Giannis already missing.
That's rough for the Justice, man.
You hate that. DM charged up now and won't be too far away from his next Graviton Surge. Ding, just having switched to Sombra, has 76% ult charge. Yikes!
So this is one where the Dragons desperately need to win. Like we mentioned, the Justice, I thought they could have went for it, go for the point A hold. I mean, they are in complete control of this game.
Well, let's see if they can regain that rally from Ardo.
They're just going to run, and they're going to back all the way out there. I mean,
Giannis wants to play this corner. I don't think he wants to push too far ahead of it.
They used rally when they were so far away. Like, at least get a little bit close and start the fight. You gave them such a large advantage to get out.
Things like, no, I don't think I do anything here. Shatter from Giannis was good.
Yeah.
Another good one from him. I definitely thought his Reinhardt's looked better. His Winston was a bit of a struggle over that first map when they tried to answer the Widowmaker with it.
Since they've made the adjustments to the Sombra, he's looked really good. I mean, his shatters have been on point. So, 5 shatter kills for Giannis. I mean, on this map alone. So.
You can see how effective the payload is actually for breaking line of sight. You can shatter people behind the payload. It's a little bit hard for your enemy Reinhardt to actually see where you are if your shield isn't up. The model of the Reinhardt can still be mostly obscured by the body of the payload, so you can catch people unaware. Yes, they still get a voice line, but they won't know exactly where you are, and if they're not ready, they'll be punished. 3 people EMP, but Sleepy still gets a Transcendence.
I think Sansan went to go launch his back, didn't realize he was hacked.
Giannis got punished there really badly, man. He got EMP'd, then he got shattered, and Sleepy despite... Bing there!
Here we
You're
go.
going to keep him alive. Sansan gets 2 with a self-destruct now. Transcendence coming out a little bit late here from Luffy, but it's only 3 players really to work with now. Ardo knocked to the ground, but damage is barely there. Gamsu's forced to try and push forward, but he's just taking a huge amount of the crackback. Ding is forced to translocate to the high ground where there isn't a health pack, so we can't get involved in the fight. He walks straight into Corey's laser. And the Dragons are finally halted with what, quite frankly, to me seems like a bit of a clown fiesta approach to the start of attack.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dragons got fortunate there. I think the Justice definitely could have full held. The way the last map has gone, the way the first half of this one has gone, you know, you're looking down at potentially a game 5. I mean, we'll see what the Justice get going on offense here, but they have looked like a different team since the half.
Well, we've seen some stuff today. In fact, today's been a day for some odd games, but a second, I mean, we can now start talking about it, I think. A second series victory for the Washington Justice will be huge here, not only because it keeps the Dragons out of the playoffs, and, well, I mean, you know, maybe you don't want to spoil that, but hey, it's a map 5 as well. The Dragons can't afford that, which is why I find it so strange. Shanghai can't afford to get a map 5. And then they play this weird stuff on attack and they lose like 3.5 minutes.
You almost view the Justice's season, though, as like 2 different parts, right? I mean, they come in, they have like Guido at the beginning, right? And some other players, and now they've kind of settled on... and they settled on this. And you bring in Sleepy and Ark, and it's not like you're just bringing in 2 other players to replace. Like, you're bringing in 2 difference makers, right?
I miss Fazis, though.
I mean, Ark last year, before Onimo appears out of nowhere, we're talking about Ark as one of the best, if not the best, main support in the league, right? And we were talking about...
But not known as a Lucio player,
No.
really. He was a Mercy player at the height of Mercy being, frankly, ridiculous.
But still, he trusted me pretty good, right? I mean, I think with what his record was, and especially from a calling perspective, right? Can speak both Korean and English, right? A huge bone when you have Sleepy and Corey on the lineup. Like, and I think you bring in Sleepy. Like, you almost have to look at the Justice season as like 2 different parts. Like, post when you bring these players in, and then like before it happened.
And after the Justice getting pretty wrecked for a lot of the part of the season so far, how important is it to add a player like Sleepy who's just so hungry for W's into the team, like to rejuvenate them and give them that sort of drive again? That's at least, I believe that's what the kind of guy he's like into this roster. So,
Well, you think this team looks drastically different after the All-Star break? I mean, they're kind of learning on the fly right now. Like, not a lot of time to work Sleepy in. Not a lot of time to work Ark.
I mean,
getting used to like your teammates, right? Like calling and what you think you should be doing in certain situations versus what
I feel like changing your calling structure is huge, right? I know Sleepy likes to talk about Corey's very vocal, Ark as well. They've had a week off, in all fairness. They had a week off.
A week's not enough. I mean, when you have a team like the Dragons who have been playing since stage 1,
and they play this crazy aggressive style so effortlessly. But I like this disengage here from Shanghai. They can come back in just a moment after they got the healing done. That hack on Giannis, I would have thought the Dragons would go more aggressive after Giannis gets hacked there. Like maybe make some use out of that. I guess they did.
And I think when you back up and you're the Dragons here, it gives Ding's Soul possession of the high ground. Because you're going to play, I mean, with the way the Justice have it right now, you have nobody who's really going to play on the high ground alone. So you're going to give Ding up the high ground by playing that position. That allows him to get hacks from above. You can't really raise your shield to block it. And then also, if you round the corner, there's not a hiding spot for EMP. You're going to connect with everybody. So see, look, they know now that they can't afford to go under the bridge. They have to challenge the high ground. Because they can't allow Ding to just keep accessing this for free.
I like that from Ding. He walks up, but then he translocates after. He doesn't like set a translocator. He did that just so that he could reposition himself if he needed it.
And I think if you're Washington, if you group up there and you start slowly approaching, the EMP is going to go out. So now this allows you to go back and play underneath the bridge if you would like. I mean, it gives you another option here.
I mean, it was almost like they were waiting to get EMP'd with the way they'd set up there.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, that was not a push that the Justice expected to win there. I mean,
Washington, okay.
Look, now they can play under the bridge.
Right, and I want to see some aggression here. I really want to see them try and chase down Shanghai. Keep an eye on the Lucio speed boost here between Coma and Ark, because it will be a matter of Shanghai wanting to disengage a little bit, stretch this out, and then get value out of their Graviton.
But now they're not worried about like a massive EMP coming in this open space. Like, you can weather through the grab with some support ultimates here.
DM from above. Big shadow there, but Transcendence is helping a heck of a lot. It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's a dragon. DM drops down with the Graviton Surge, but with the sound barrier in play, the Justice just shake it off. They dust themselves up, get back into the fight, but now it's a 6-man EMP. Everybody hit by that one, but the damage wasn't there. DM, fair enough. He only gets one though, Matt.
I mean, they play that great, the Justice. They end up using their Transcendence a little bit early, then Ding comes in, uses EMP, you get the sound barrier out. But that whole thing is possible by getting EMP out, by making that junk push up to the high ground. They know that Ding is going to play on that high ground, get the EMP out, allows you to push the cart around the corner without getting EMP'd. You get a solo hack, you can still kind of push it around, you're not extremely worried about it. And they take the fight in the open space.
So a great example of how these teams are planning for 2, sometimes 3 fights in the future when they're considering how to use their ultimates. Self-destruct there, well, it buys a little bit of space, to be fair. The Dragons, Ding's still able to get away. Coma not really too bothered either. But from the high ground, you can see the angle is so good for Sombra. I mean, you're almost aiming straight down with the hack, so Giannis has to aim his shield upwards, which means that he can get hit from every other direction. Giannis stunned up now. Also means you can shield bash him easier, by the way, because shield now blocks Brigadier's shield bash. Transcendence used defensively there by the Washington just to kind of get away, but catching Sansa Manado was huge. Giannis there gets shield bash briefly. He's going to get taken down as well. The Justice are in trouble in this fight. They've definitely lost it, but they have 2 minutes and 16 seconds here, and they're not too far from the goal, Matt.
Yeah, and they're going to have another one of these junk pushes where they run into, whether it's a grab or EMP, And I think if you're the Justice, you would love to see the grab come out. After that EMP, you want to get EMP out.
If you're the Dragons, right, you just want to use one of those this fight. I feel like you hate to use both of those at all.
I mean, if you're the Dragons, I almost want to hold on to EMP.
Well, wouldn't you use EMP then grab and then hopefully get EMP from that grab fight?
Again. I mean, you use grab as well. If you're in a position, you'll end up with another shatter here too. Then you shatter plus EMP, then you're in a really good place.
Ding drops down. Okay, so he's going to follow up there. EMP is big. He has been. I mean, I want to see his numbers after this one, but you can just see what it does to a team.
I mean, he's got 27 enemies hacked, 21 of them coming off of EMP.
In this map?
In this map, yeah, just this map.
Wow, that is 4 and a bit teams worth. So it's pretty nice.
But I tell you what, though, for as much as they come in and get these big team wipes with the EMP, the Justice have pretty much everything. I mean, they just use Rally. I mean, you're going to have both majors to stay in ultimates. The Shatter is going to be hard with how much high ground the Dragons are playing on.
I feel like Washington wanted to be aggressive here because the Dragons had no real big support ultimates. Okay, so no follow-up really, and it's a manual hang. Oh, the Gamsu dropped down. That might have been the turnaround they were looking for. Talk about a way to get value out of one ultimate. Ding is going to fall somehow to sun some self-destruct. It's like he was invisible in midair, but Gamsu now is going to try and get the job done. That was the opening for the Justice Mat. And Gamsu just served him up another L.
Oh, and I would love to see, Corey ends up using his grab. Didn't really get a chance to see what it actually connected with. Sansa not going to be able to get back in the mech.
Right, he used to be a mecha pilot until it took laser to the knee.
Maybe another attempt here to touch if you're the Justice. It's going to be real close.
Gamsu just that was it for the Justice. The grab looked awful.
EMP here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I see. They get a grab or a shatter, and then here's the EMP.
They didn't touch.
Oh,
yeah. Corey's got his hands on his head. Oh man.
I mean, the Justice are discussing what happened now. Corey's slapping himself on the forehead like, oh, I can't believe I did that.
Ark's kind of smiling. They know they beefed it a bit.
This is what it takes. Look at the Justice now and think, and remember the Dragons were in an even worse position last season.
Yeah.
Without a win. And this is what it takes to compete at this level. The Dragons, to be fair, through roster changes and many ways of sort of upskilling themselves, have come out of that patch. If you're a Washington Justice fan, you have to love your team and accept that they have to take the same journey and you along with them.
I think the hardest part if you're a Justice fan or a Justice player coming out of this match is you look at this second half, and this is definitely one you could have taken a Game 5. I mean, you could have won Gibraltar right there. I mean, that is a winnable map if you're the Washington Justice. But Shanghai, they closed it out. They get 3-1 they desperately needed.
Let's now head down to the floor with a man who really needs no introduction. And a player, of course, who has been a pro in multiple games over multiple regions. It's Danny Gamsu.
Mr. Matt, thank you very much. What is up, everybody? I am here with Gamsu from Shanghai Dragons. Everybody make some noise. Congratulations. Amazing job as always today. Now, the week isn't over yet. Sunday, you guys will be facing off against one of the tougher opponents of the league, San Francisco Shock. Now, Gamsu, do you feel like Shanghai Dragons are the ones to put a stop to their winning streak? 자, 이번 주 일요일 센쇼과의 경기가 있죠. 아무래도 조금 더 강팀이기 때문에 감수 선수, 상하이 팀이 그 센쇼의 연승을 막을 수 있는 팀이라고 생각을 하시나요?
아무래도 스테이지 2에서 쇼크가 제일 강한 상대가 될 것 같은데 이게 승률은 낮더라도 저희 팀이 자신은 지금 있습니다. 그래서 열심히 한다면 가능성이 있다고 생각해요.
Right, so I feel like San Francisco Shock is one of the tougher opponents that we will be facing in Stage 2. Although there is not that much high percentage of us winning, but I feel like we are very confident if we just play our game and try our best, I believe we can do it. And I believe we could do it too. Right, guys? Yeah? You can do it. You can do it. 할 수 있어요. Alrighty. And also, although nothing is set in stone yet, there is a possibility of Shanghai Dragons making it into Stage 2 playoffs. Gamsu, what would it mean for Shanghai Dragons to make it into Stage 2 playoff? 자, Stage 2 프로업 아직 확정은 되지 않았지만 확률이 굉장히 높습니다. 들어갈 수 있습니다. 어떤 의미가 있을까요? 프로업을 들어간다는 게.
시즌 1 때는 샹하이가 약팀으로서의 그 대표적인 이미지가 강했는데 이제 플레이오프에 진출하게 되면 이제 그 이미지를 점점 탈피하게 돼서 그게 가장 큰 의미인 것 같아요.
Because season 1, the inaugural season of Overwatch League, Shanghai Dragons were known or as seen as one of the weaker teams. So making it to stage 2 playoffs this year would kind of show everyone that Shanghai Dragons aren't that weak and we are a strong team. Great answer. Thank you so much, Gamsu. Everybody give it up for Gamsu one more time. That's it for me. Mitch and Matt, back to you.
Thank you, Danny. It's quite interesting, actually, how someone like Gamsu will take the reputation of the Dragons from season 1 on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I'm a part of us sort of subverting this history. Here's your stage 2 standings, though, and yeah, the Dragons are in with a +4 map differential, obviously having gone 3-1 there, and that bodes fairly well. Now, they can say, all right, well, we might drop a map here, or a match against the Shock and still be 4-3 and have a chance.
Yeah, so they do have the tiebreaker over the Hunters. They've beaten the Hunters a little bit earlier. The big one is it comes down to Spark plays Seoul Dynasty. That'll be big in terms of like Spark's map differential or record, right? Spark could end up, getting to, let's say 5-2, right? No +1 in the map differential, or even you could have Seoul Dynasty jump up to 4-2. The Dragons, they have to put up a good fight against the Shock, who nobody has taken a map off of all stage.
Pretty insane stuff here in stage 2. Still much to be decided at the last couple of days. Here's your player of the match by HP, and like I said, keep the camera on Ding. I don't care. I mean, if he keeps doing stuff like this, Matt, it's all I want to see.
He was crushing. I mean, the whole first. The first half way more than the second half. I think still good in the second half. Like Gibraltar, the 27 players, connected with hacks. But I mean, his Sombra was a big difference maker. I mean, the Justice had no answer for it the first 2 maps.
Yeah, really well. Like, if you have the All Access Pass or access to the Command Center, I hope you're able to sort of recognize how he used the high ground to make real good use out of Sombra. It's not something you always think about, but the hack definitely is a bit more effective from there.
84 enemies EMP'd, 125 enemies hacked. I mean, look, they have 48. They have 48 limbs off of those hacked enemies.
So
that
decent conversion. It's like 1 in every 3 people getting hacked by Ding is being taken down.
Good hero.
That is a very good conversion rate indeed. Great stuff from Ding. I thought Gamsu looked really good here. Obviously, fans of Kagari didn't get to see her this week, but you definitely expect to see more of her. They're definitely going to need some Diva action. It's been quite the day. Considering we only had 3 matches instead of our normal 4, it was action-packed, and I'm definitely feeling it, guys, but it's not done yet. Coming up next, the Watch Point post-show, and me and Maddie will be back on Sunday. Catch you then.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome. It's the Watch My Post show. We are live from the only place I want to be right now. It's the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. Welcome, everybody. If you don't know me by now, you didn't watch any of the show today. I'm Puckett. I got the whole crew. We've got Brett, we've got Sideshow, and a very special, super smart man with a small beard and a great green shirt on. It's Hexagrams.
I have nothing to add to that. That's pretty descriptive, I think.
Hex, every show, we always like to start with, what did you learn today? And technically, I'm supposed to go to you first, but I'm going to jump in here right now and say, today, I learned that Hexagrams is the smartest man we've ever had on this analyst desk. He was the only one to call Boston.
I was 4-0 last week, I believe 3-0 this week, so it's not really about what I learned. It's about what everyone else should have finally learned. Don't bet against the Boston Uprising. It wasn't even just on a macro level. It was each fight, each individual map. They just pulled through when they shouldn't have.
We know Huck's paying you, but keep preaching. What about you, Josh?
What have I learned? I've learned that there's still a long way to go for the Washington Justice. Bless their little hearts. They're trying, but it's them and the Florida Mayhem just floundering at the bottom of this league at the moment, and they've got a long way upwards. I thought the addition of Ark and Sleepy would have some kind of results that you could see, not in terms of actually getting wins, but just looking like they were better. And individually, they still look pretty good, but as a team, it's not happening, Puckett. It ain't happening.
It ain't happening. Sorry, Washington. What about you, Brent?
I'm going to be real with you. I didn't learn much today. I mean, the games went pretty much how I expected them to, with the exception of Boston.
Yeah, apart from the first game that you got
two
wrong.
of the three
But
games
again,
went the way I thought they would.
I kind of had a feeling as this game went in that they'll... I mean, that was the match that was going to be the closest.
Get out of here. You had a feeling.
But I will say this. What I did learn today, Josh, if you calm yourself for a second, okay? I like the way you said hello in the intro, Puckett. Reminded me of Gloucester. I don't know why. Just home. Reminded me of home. I got flashbacks of cheese rolling down hills.
Do you want me to start the show now, or should we just keep
do it.
reflecting? All right. Well, the quest for the Dragons to make their first ever stage playoff continued today when Shanghai took on the Washington Justice. And as you heard from Josh, it was a stomping, especially the first half. It was all ding on the Sombra, but we picked up the action in the second half as we went to Blizzard World.
Well, look at this. This is about the best play that the Washington Justice made the whole time, was making sure that they kept track of where Ding was with their support to be able to shut him